UFC 317 is this weekend. Ilia Topuria has moved up to lightweight to take on former lightweight champion Charles Oliveira. It is the first time I feel like we have a eatable pay-per-view in months. But don't let a decent pay-per-view distract you from the fact that this is International Fight Week in Las Vegas. So we should really be eating a lot harder than we are. I'm going to quit bitching, though, get into the picks, give you guys a BunkyBet little parlay at the end here, and just hopefully prepare for some good fights, man. Opening up UFC 317, we have Payton Talbott taking on Felipe Lima. I definitely would have been more interested in this matchup later down the line if the UFC did what they were supposed to and built up Payton Talbott and Felipe Lima as their own personal prospects first. And then we had a super cool prospect versus prospect, Payton Talbott, Felipe Lima. This fight means a little more than it does right now. But to be honest, I think the reason they're doing this is because Payton Talbott got whooped by Barcelos. They know Payton Talbott currently has a lot of hype on him. Showcase he doesn't really have the takedown defense. He kind of got schooled. I think this is a passing of the torch moment the UFC cooked up. They want Felipe Lima just to suck up all of Payton Talbott's hype here. I know a lot of people are going in here still rooting for Payton Talbott, rightfully so. He just recently quit vaping. All that shit out of the way, I do think Felipe Lima is going to win this one. I genuinely think what the UFC is doing here, they kind of realize that Payton Talbott isn't going to be the star or superstar they may have thought he was going to be after his most recent fight. I do think he's going to come in here looking improved. I don't think the improvements he can make on one fight is going to be enough to deal with Felipe Lima. I know Payton Talbott's coming in here, the casual fan favorite. A lot of people are rooting for Payton Talbott, especially Frank Ocean. He kind of has that weird star factor to him, but I do think he's going to kind of get schooled here by Felipe Lima. Payton Talbott does, of course, have that power to perhaps get Felipe Lima out of there. There was a fight in Payton Talbott's history where he was getting schooled and was able to knock him out kind of at the end there, a fight he was losing and ended up stealing the win. So that's definitely always an option here. That's definitely always something Payton Talbott can whip out and do, but I am going to rock with Felipe Lima. I wish the UFC handled this a little better. Maybe gave Payton Talbott an easier opponent here. Maybe give Felipe Lima an easier opponent here. I do think Felipe Lima is going to win. But they could have built them up a little bit more is what I'm saying here. And we could have had a really awesome Payton Talbott-Felipe Lima matchup down the line. And it wouldn't have been something I hated headlighting an Apex card. I think they're just going to transfer Payton Talbott's quote-unquote star power over to Felipe Lima. And we're going to have an exciting prospect in the bantamweight division. Moving up the main card, we've got Beneil Dariush taking on Renato Moicano. Just a reminder, this is an International Fight Week pay-per-view. I do really enjoy Beneil Dariush, and I think Moicano has some underrated mic skills. I'm also going to probably end up taking Moicano to beat Dariush here. I think you guys can go back and Google this, though. I don't know the exact number right now, but I think Beneil Dariush at one point opened up as like a minus 230 favorite against Charles Oliveira. That's just kind of ridiculous to think on in hindsight. But hey, Beneil Dariush, he was on that big win streak, right? I've picked against Dariush before. I thought Gamrot was going to beat him. Dariush obviously whipped him. And then if you're looking at Dariush's past two losses, Oliveira and Sarukian, those really haven't aged as bad losses. However, I'm really appreciating what Moicano's doing right now. His win against Dober holds some weight for me. I'm a big Drew Dober fan. I was definitely rooting for Drew Dober there, and Moicano kind of put it on him. Moicano putting it on Jalen Turner. And if that short notice Sarukian bullshit doesn't happen because he broke his back hanging out with Nina Drama, I'm thinking Moicano just beat the fuck out of Benoit Saint Denis. I'm not thinking Islam Makhachev just submitted Moicano in round one on same day's notice, right? So I am definitely going to move with Moicano here. I think this will be a close fight, though. I don't think he's going to go out there and finish Beneil Dariush. I think this is going to be a decision win for Renato Moicano. Right now, Joshua Van is a plus 105 dog, but when this fight was initially announced, I don't know if you all remember, Joshua Van was like minus 200 something. And what's crazy is if I had that to completely ignore, that didn't happen, and I saw the line as it is, Joshua Van plus 105, I'd still think that's a little disrespectful to Brandon Royval. Royval is no slouch in this game, which I guess in context is odd for me to say because I'm picking Joshua Van here, but man, I think we've got a flyweight banger on our hands. I'm really excited to see this fight. I think it's going to be back and forth 3 rounds. I think we're going to walk away from this fight thinking, man, I wish it was 5. In which case, honestly, the 5-round fight favors Brandon Royval. I am going to take Joshua Van here in this 3-rounder. I think this is going to be a banger. I'm super high on the Joshua Van train, but I think a lot of people are right now, and there's definitely a reason. Big fan of him. Big fan of what he is on the octagon. Recently bought his mom a house. Love everything about that. Hopefully 50K to both of those gentlemen. I think we got a banger on our hands. Really excited for this one. I've got it circled for sure. Guys, Pantoja is number 9 on the men's pound for pound. Alex Pereira is higher than Pantoja on the pound for pound. That's ridiculous. This guy gets disrespected day in and day out, and I'm honestly sick of it. Also, have you all seen his custom shorts this weekend? Ugh. This one really sucks for me. This is probably going to be how I'm feeling next pay-per-view. Dustin Poirier, Max Holloway. I've got 2 fighters I'm really big fans of. Luckily, one of them's going to win, but unfortunately, I'm probably going to be more affected by one of them losing. I love both of these guys. Cara France knocking out Steve Erceg was electric. Me and my boys got super hype watching that one. There's some good odds here with Cara France plus 215, but man, I just can't bring myself to pick against Pantoja. If we didn't get that weird, hey, Sean O'Malley's a superstar, give him the immediate rematch, I would have loved to entertain the Dvalishvili-Pantoja fight. Have Pantoja go ahead and move up and give Merab a shot. I think that would have been an awesome fight. It would have been both of their hardest challenges yet. I would have ate that shit up. But instead, Merab dominates Sean O'Malley. We're going to have Pantoja versus Cara France. I think Pantoja is going to beat Cara France, which sucks. I'm going to be sad about it, but I think Pantoja is one of those few world beaters we have in the sport. Our main event of the evening, which should be Ilia Topuria versus Islam Makhachev, but Bilal Muhammad sucks. We have Ilia Topuria taking on Charles Oliveira for the vacant lightweight title. There is a lot of dialogue going around this fight, and for good reason. Ilia Topuria and Charles Oliveira both got shooters online, especially Charles Oliveira, man. I mean, they got people behind him. You go to comments on Ilia Topuria posts, you're going to see, we are going to knock him out. They've got like an Ilia Topuria profile picture. Like, they really think they are that guy. I'm obviously a fan of both of these guys inside of the octagon. I don't know if I'm as big as a Charles Oliveira fan, but I definitely appreciate what he's done with the sport and his story. I think that shit is beautiful. And I actually hear Bella Ramsey is getting ready to play him in the new movie they're talking about making. All that blabbering out of the way, Charles Oliveira plans to walk forward against Ilia Topuria. All right. And yeah, so I am going with Ilia Topuria. I'm unfortunately at that point with Ilia Topuria right now where whenever he says he's going to do something, I just kind of have to assume he's going to do it until he proves elsewise. I picked against Ilia Topuria in the Volkanovski fight. I'm a big Volk fan. That was horrific. And naturally, through the transitive property, I'm a big Holloway guy. And I picked against Ilia in the Holloway fight. And what the fuck happened? So I'm not going to make the same mistake 3 times. I have to go with Ilia Topuria here. And I think he's just going to go fan favorite, dead, fan favorite, dead, fan favorite, dead, up until he decides he doesn't want to do it anymore. I know. It's creeping. I'm looking at it right now. It's staring at me. It's fucking staring at me. But I can't bring myself to do it. I really think Ilia Topuria is going to go out there. I think he's going to finish Charles Oliveira, man. Well, I know there's a lot of discourse that Charles Oliveira is too big for Ilia Topuria, or what if the power doesn't transfer to 155? But Max Holloway's a bigger opponent. We saw what happened to him. And since he's got goat-slaying hands, a lot of people don't seem to mention that Ilia Topuria won his first 7 professional fights all by submission. Doesn't seem like this guy's a slouch anywhere. And I've picked against him so much that I'm just at a point where I have to see him lose until I pick against him again. The eye test holds a lot of value, and he's also got the names on his resume to back it up. So
I have an unhealthy obsession with spending money, but I have a healthy obsession with making it.
You know what that means? It's time for the BunkyBet, where I give you a parlay, it cashes, and you make some money. You already know we're certified over here. We don't play about it. Whatever you do, don't watch my last 2 breakdowns. But if you want to watch the Volk Lopez one, I'm all for it. Here's what I cooked up. Felipe Lima over Payton Talbott, minus 194. Renato Moicano over Dariush, minus 122. And then give me the dog, Joshua Van at plus 102. This brings the BunkyBet at my place, plus 457. Little 3-legger. I like it. I feel like it's got some juice. I wish everyone the best of luck. Obviously, if I knew how every fight was going to go every single time, I'd be a millionaire. Who's to say I'm not, though?